Welcome to the Good Rookies podcast. My name's Faheem.
And my name is Nelly J, y'all. And we are Good Rookies.
That's right.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Good Tuesday. And guess what? It's episode 86.
86. Wow.
Bruh. We are in 86, guys. Like, I am just like in utter shock, right, guys? We're 4 to 90, big milestone. Then next one is 100, big up next milestone. So for him, you know what I'm saying? But it's good because, we've had straight episodes and I know our listeners love to kind of hear us go back and forth at it. So I'm pretty excited for this episode this week because we got a lot to cover. A lot of things happened that I think kind of went under the radar. So we got to bring it to light today. First of all, I got to get your reaction to Team Canada, the men's soccer team, making it to the World Cup. How do you feel? The last time they made it, I think it was back in 85, like 36 years ago. So that's a while ago. Okay. So what's your thoughts seeing that this happening in our lifetime?
First, amazing. Also, okay, it's one thing to just be invited to dance, but also, be invited, like earn your spot. We came in as a hot team at a CONCACAF, and on a next level, like we legit can really make an upset. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we can go in there and make noise. It's not like should be just happy to be at the dance, happy to be at the World Cup. No, like we could really upset some teams. So I'm excited. Very competitive team we put out there.
Well, it's going to be interesting because I think we are in Group F, I think, for the World Cup. So, so I think it's going to be quite competitive. I'm trying to remember what group. I think F, G. What group are we in? I got to find this up quickly, but we're in one of the groups. I think our groups are quite competitive. Here we go. So our group is Team Canada. Y'all know, is it E? Let me check. G, where is Canada at?
For some reason, I'm feeling it might be F.
I said Group F, but I'm seeing Group F is not us. No.
Oh, no.
It's not E.
Team Canada.
Yeah, it's why can't I find it? No, this is not the right one. World Cup.
I know anyone listening now is like, they know it already. They're like,
I know they're probably like, it's Group H. But you know what? I swear, I swear it was. I swear it was Group F. I feel like it's Group F, guys. If it's not, correct us if we're wrong. But yes, it is Group F. You see?
It is.
Yep. I knew it. I'm like, I swear it was Group F. Okay, I'm not going crazy. Yes. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It is happening in Qatar. Quite a few issues there. Some players and people are not really happy with them having it in Qatar. But that can definitely be a topic for sure when the World Cup starts. But I'm excited for Team Canada for sure. So.
Definitely.
Into our next topic.
So I'll tell you what, let's do this then, since we're just talking about Team Canada. So TSN came out with a Canadian most marketable list. And it looked like, so Alphonso Davies, he's the tops of Canada's most marketable athletes. I'm going to quickly go over the list. I'll be honest, when I seen it, a lot of surprises. So that had me originally thinking, this, we could be getting ball sacked here. Like this could be a joke. But TSN's putting this out. Pretty reputable outlet. So we'll go with what TSN has on his list. First, Alphonso Davies, number 1. Number 2, Tristan Thompson. Number 3, Lance Stroll. Number 4, Sidney Crosby. 5, Connor McDavid. 6, Jamal Murray. 7, Andrew Wiggins. 8, Mitch Marner. 9, Eugenie Bouchard, and 10, Chase Claypool. Let me just say this right now. Lance Stroll had no idea who he was. Name didn't even ring a bell. Now, mind you, I don't watch Formula One. How about you? Have you heard of Lance Stroll before?
I have. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, only because the Grenadian, right? Lewis Hamilton. I kind of try to follow it a little bit, but there's these ladies called Women Watching Sports, and they're all huge F1 and Clubhouse. So I've kind of learned a little bit from them, from like they watch the races live there. But yeah, like Lance Stroll, it's funny because, you know, I find this list really interesting, right? I'm a big Mitch Marner fan. I love like Chase Claypool, very entertaining, Mr. TikTok, right? For Steelers, Sidney Crosby, right? The list is, to me, is quite interesting. I just think the name that doesn't belong there, because everyone else to me are like top of their game, or they're young, about to blow up. Like, you know, they're projected to be leaders in their sport, except for Tristan Thompson.
Right. Okay. That's the one name I was thinking. I was waiting to see what name you're throwing out. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I just feel like I don't think he belongs on this list, right? And it's interesting, right? Because this was taken by people outside of Canada. So this isn't based on what Canadians think. It's based on what the international, global, I guess, of individuals feel like, right? Mm-hmm. So Tristan Thompson is known to get a Kardashian pregnant and to cheat on her twice publicly, and then get another girl pregnant publicly. So he's known for that. So the fact that he is like ranked number 2 on this list of actual athletes, don't really any drama. There's no type of, you know, it's just really high for someone that's known for, you know, not wrapping it up. So that's just my thoughts on this list. What about you, Faheem? Anyone you think shouldn't be on this list, or you think?
So, like you said, he's number 2. When I first saw the list and I saw Tristan Thompson, immediately I thought, okay, this is a joke. This can't be real. Tristan Thompson, for everything you mentioned. So they're talking about most marketable, but you'd have to have something to market. Tristan Thompson, he's an NBA champion, yes, but what sponsorships does he have? Like, I'm not sure. I don't see the play with Tristan Thompson in regards to him being up here in most marketable, especially in basketball. I would think maybe a name like Jamal Murray, for instance.
Of course, Jamal Murray, and like his girlfriend's an athlete, like legit. Everyone else are like younger athletes that are projected to do well in their sport. To me, Gilgeous-Alexander should have been on this list. I feel like he was snubbed because, you know, he's just really stylish. Everyone likes him, very well known in the NBA and well respected. And he's younger, about to get paid over $30 million, $30 million next year. So he's someone I feel like should be on this list. That's why I feel like Tristan Thompson.
So don't get me wrong. Jamal Murray's on the list. My apologies. He's number 6, but I thought he would be much higher. He's number 6. But to think that Tristan Thompson's number 2 and Jamal Murray's number 6, something away is a ding, 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 ding. Something's
and
not
number
right.
2 because he got a Kardashian pregnant. So the global. So to me, the global. Listen, y'all. That's not in Canada. Listen, y'all. Tristan Thompson can't sell a toothpaste out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to buy Tristan Thompson stuff because he's in, like, again, no knock to Tristan Thompson. I'm sure he's a great person. I'm just saying, like, he's not marketable here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not, you know what I mean? Like, he's not marketable in Canada. In America, I don't think so at all either, since what happened. But, you know, hey, he does do things for, like, I know he does stuff for the food bank in Cleveland. He does do a lot of philanthropy. His endorsements, just so we know, just so everyone knows, it's Beats by Dre. He has Mountain Dew and Nike, Moet and Shandon, I guess, like, you know, the Nectar Imperial Rose or Rosé. So like he does have some endorsements, but he has like 4. And Mountain Dew endorses like every most NBA athlete. So, but anyway, he has some endorsement, but like he's not the most marketable. I don't think that there's others that they could have picked, but again, right, the global market, they probably don't see what we see, right? So maybe they know Tristan Thompson more because of the news and social media, but not because of him playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? So.
No, and that's fair. You just mentioned the word snub. And when I think of a snub, I look on this list immediately when I don't see DeGrasse. Like he's, you know, track and field's a global
Olympic
sport. And we know DeGrasse, he's with GoDaddy. You see his commercials all the time.
And I think Puma as well. I think he's with Puma too.
Okay. I mean, so just to see that we have a list with no Andre DeGrasse, but we have even Eugenie Bouchard. I was surprised that even Bianca Andrescu's not more marketable for them now because she's doing a lot better in the sport. I don't know. It's just this list is weird. It's very weird to me.
Honestly, this list must have been taken by people that are over the age of 55 and all they do is watch soccer and tennis, like honestly, and maybe they watch the Winter Olympics. Like this list is just really weird to me. Really weird. But hey, all I know, Nike, no one's buying Tristan Thompson sneakers. That's all I gotta say.
No, definitely.
We're not buying those.
And if I'm gonna put a sleeper on here, someone who's, if he's not on this list this year, we need to get him on the list. Actually, I'll put two. Felix Auger-Aliassime, one for tennis because he's on the rise.
Yes.
And also Denis Shapovalov. Him also, those two young up and coming tennis players. They gotta get on this list. But I mean, like you said,
one of these things just don't belong here. One of these things is not the same.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right, so next, did you want to maybe let's go to the NFL. They have the proposed OT rule change.
Yes.
You're much more in tune to the NFL than I am, so give me your take on this. Actually, let me give mine first, just being the casual NFL follower. I hate the fact that whoever wins a coin toss can end the game. Does not make logical sense to me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it had to happen, Faheem, right? 2 games this year was pretty much in like Kansas City only beat the Bills because they won the coin toss. That was it. There was another one. I think it was the Bucks lost because of coin toss too, right? So this is what happens. It's like so if I don't win a coin toss, I don't win the game. You know what I'm saying? And those are like 2 big teams, right? So like that's why I feel like it had to happen, right? The Buffalo Bills was a shootout, boom, done, right? The Bucks and the Rams, boom, right? So actually, was it the Rams? Who the Rams play in the NFC championship game? I think it was the because I know it was the start of the Niners and the Rams, but before they meet, before that, the Bucks only lost because they lost a coin toss, right? So it's just like two I think good teams didn't advance because of a coin toss situation where it's based on like luck. It's not so did the best team advance? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and yeah, I guess the luckiest team advance, because if you win the coin, like to think a coin toss can determine if you get the ball and you get to end the game, it's just absolutely ridiculous. But since the overtime rule is instituted in 2012 in the regular season, and the team that won the coin toss won the game half the time. So it's 76 out of 152 games. That's during the regular season. But both teams had at least one possession 82% of the time. So that's during the regular season. But when the postseason, it flips quite a bit, because it says here, when the rule was instituted for the playoffs, 7 of the 12 overtime games were won on the opening possession touchdown, and 10 of 12 of them were won by the team that won the coin toss. So it pretty much means like 10 out of 12, if you win that coin toss, the odds are in your favor that you're going to end the game. And last year, like I said, I'm very much a casual NFL follower, but I can say that last year was a very exciting playoffs. And to think that,
there was 2. So actually, so my memory, like honestly, there's so many, but so the Bucks did not lose because of the coin toss. It was another team. I'm trying to find the other team name. But I know for sure it was the Bills, because that was annoying as hell. I watched that game. Was it Green Bay? No, what team was it? It's gonna bother me now. But 2 teams pretty much lost because of coin toss, and I think this kind of forced the NFL to kind of like, hey, we can't continue this anymore, right? Because it's a postseason, and typically, I think you should be playing until the other team doesn't, like, you know what I mean? Like essentially, you should be playing until someone wins, right? Like, you know how we have do or die? Or penalty kicks in, like, in soccer and hockey. It's like, how can we do penalty kicks in the NFL? we don't have that, right? So essentially, it's like at this point, we have to find a way to do so. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and for the NFL players, imagine how if you even get to overtime, imagine all the work that you put in at that particular day. You know what I'm saying? So to think that your dreams are cut short off of the luck of a coin toss, it's crazy. So I'm just glad they worked it out now, and things like that will make it better. I think of other sports like the NHL. They flirted with 4-on-4, right?
Mm-hmm.
And overtime. Certain adjustments that you make for it's if it's good for the sport, that's great. I'm just trying to think of another one that they did. I know baseball's always kind of tinkering with rules here and there. I think in baseball, it was past season they flirted with extra innings would go second, automatically second base. Things like that. Like if you can make up something that's good for the game, but I just don't understand 10 years ago what they were thinking to say, let's just decide on a coin toss. Maybe it could be, actually now, as I'm saying this, a lot of these games are televised and maybe they have to work off a television schedule, and
True.
that's money. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they just it's on a time constraint, and maybe they don't have what it takes, or they don't want teams to go back and forth. Because in football, remember, you have downs and it can be drawn out. So I get that, but that was not a good look. I'm glad they stopped it.
Yeah, and honestly, I felt bad because for the Bills, like that game was crazy for me. There was two. I know it's gonna bother me afterwards, but the Bills game and the Chiefs game, that game was wild because like both teams were so good, and essentially they're just going back and forth, back and forth. They came back and tied the game. Chiefs got the coin toss. They scored, so they won. So and it's funny because I remember I was like, each team must have a chance to score a touchdown. If I score my first drive and you don't, you're the better team. But if I score and you score, we keep going until someone stops scoring. You know what I'm saying? That's it. But I think both teams have an opportunity to score. You know what it's like? Imagine like in soccer or in hockey, if I score in a penalty kick, that's it. I win the entire penalty kick. You know what I'm saying? It's like that equivalent. Like only I get to attempt. And if I make the first goal, then I win. It's like, no, both sides should have a chance to score. Right. So it didn't make sense. I was like, but I get it for the regular season. You don't want these games going off for so long because, you obviously have broadcasting rights and different time schedules. I get that. But for the playoffs, it should be going on until it ends. There should be no type of limit to a playoff game.
Yeah.
Because that channel is making a lot of money from having this game on the side anyway. So why, like that should be the only time where timing should not be restricted on those channels. So.
Right. But mind you, if on some games, if it's a marquee game, I get where they'd want to extend it. But if it's just a regular season Sunday afternoon game with two teams that are not anything, maybe they said, let's get this over with. So I can see that also. Or maybe, worst case scenario, maybe they should have done it where regular season, keep it one and done. But in the postseason, you can't have a postseason game done. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, at the end of the day, it was the Falcons president. He's part of the competition committee. And I guess they put in ballots and they required 24 votes. And they got everybody on board. So it seems to be pretty much a unanimous thing around the league that everyone understands how silly it was to do this. And they decided to change it. So shout out to the NFL for making that adjustment.
Absolutely, man. Well, listen, I'm sure those Buffalo Bills fans must have petitioned that up the hell. Oh, for a fact. So
that's for real.
Right.
So you want to go to For the Culture?
For the culture, we like to highlight individuals for the culture. And today we get to highlight two future Hall of Famers, I believe, as well as, top 75 players. Shaquille O'Neal and Steph Curry, they actually won an Oscar, okay? An Oscar for being executive producers on the documentary called The Queen of Basketball. This documentary was focused on the amazing, legendary, Luisha Harris, who was the first woman ever to be drafted by the NBA. Luisha Harris, y'all, she passed away in January 18th of 2022. And she was a professional basketball player. And what's really crazy is that, you know, she won NCAA championships in 75 and 77. She was a leader. She won, I think, silver in the Olympics in 76, first woman basketball tournament, Olympic Games. And so, like, she's just a legend when it comes to the basketball and the origin of women in sports. So for her to kind of be drafted in the NBA back in the 70s, yo, absolute legend. She was also inducted into Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame as well, and the Women's Hall of Fame too. So she's just been around, but I don't think a lot of people even knew about her until she passed, which was kind of sad that we couldn't celebrate her and give her flowers when she was here. But this documentary really pays homage to her. What's your thoughts on this award and the fact that, you know, two male athletes, you know, allies of women in sports, really felt that this documentary had to be told about her life?
So first, guilty as charged. You said a lot of people didn't know about her. I was definitely one of them. After finding out about her, I was really blown away. Did a lot of research on her, and I think she's someone that we should all look into. If you haven't already, it's Luisia Harris. Sorry, one caveat. It was actually released in June 10, 2021, so 7 months before her death. And the director and the producer of the film, outside of just Shaq and Stephen Curry, was a Canadian filmmaker named Ben Proudfoot. So this is a Canadian filmmaker who worked with Shaq and Steph to create this film. And the fact that really it wasn't really kind of, I don't know, promoted anywhere really, you know what I'm saying? So at least she knew of this film and she was a part of it. It just sucks that, you know, it wasn't like, you know, pushed out everywhere for folks to kind of really enjoy it. You know what I mean? So yeah. So it won best short film documentary.
Yeah. So it's called Best Documentary Short Subject.
That's
the actual category. Yeah.
Perfect. So it looks to be 22 minutes long. I did Google something on here that said that on YouTube, where it was just talking about some details of the doc. So it was Kevin Durant. He won an Oscar. Was an Oscar? Remember the one for
yes, he won an Oscar last year for a short film too. Yeah, right. He did.
So I mean, it's great to see NBA players really going into a different realm, because we know Kobe won also, rest in peace. Kobe won one also for his, right?
Yes.
Your basketball, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So and I think Kobe was the first one, was he not? Am I off with that? He was. Okay. So
yes,
Kobe,
then
Kevin Durant, and
player,
now Steph and Shaq. So it's great to see that a lot of players are using their, not just a celebrity, but their capital and going into projects that are still great for the culture. And that's one. Second part I want to say is I have to ask. Actually, I got to say, Will Smith.
Oh boy.
Will Smith, yeah, no, we're not going to go down a rabbit hole with this, but
You had to bring up.
You had
to bring it up. Huh? Lord have mercy.
It's funny now, regardless if that happened or it didn't happen, chances are this was not going to be a big story about Steph and Shaq winning this. So it's great that we're actually taking the time to highlight it, because it seems like no one else really is. What was so with that happening though, I just got to ask, what's your take on it? I have to, sorry.
No, it's okay. So honestly, when it happened, because I was watching Oscars live, by the way. So it wasn't like, so what happened, I watched it live and on TV, it cut it out. So I saw Will Smith get up and then I saw him walking back. Wow. And then it cut again. Remember, it's like a delayed live. So they can edit before you actually watch it, right? So I didn't see what happened. So only when I went on Twitter and someone shared, I think someone in Australia, they're like, oh, actually, here's what happened, because in Australia,
I think it might have been the Japanese feed. I could be wrong.
Yeah, Japanese feed.
Was it? Okay, cool.
It was another feed, and the internet is so wild, right?
Right.
And
Right.
that just went viral because again, watching it live, you don't see that happening, right? And typically if it wasn't for the internet, no one would have known what have happened unless you were at the actual award show, essentially, right? But because of the Australian feed that didn't have a delayed edit, neither did the Japanese feed, like they showed us what happened. Is that crazy how technology works? So when it happened, Faheem, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, what did I just see? Like, I thought it was a skit. I thought it was fake. I was like, this didn't happen. This is no way, right? But for me, reading Will Smith's book, because I have the autobiography, amazing read, just knowing how he moves, that was not Will Smith. I'm like, no. And someone like, I'm Nigerian, but I truly believe that people have moments that are like outside of their body moments. Like, it's like you do something that's not at all your character. You know what I'm saying? And so when he got up and then he did it, slapped Chris Rock, came back, sat down, and was throwing at Chris Rock, I just felt that I'm like, yo, this is not Will Smith. It's like, I just felt like something must have happened. Again, my speculation, I'm like, that'd be history here with Chris Rock, because you don't just get up and slap somebody like that. You don't know, like, who does that, right? So clearly something has happened between them in the past, and maybe that was the last boiling point. I don't know, but all I know is that what Will Smith did was wrong. He shouldn't have just slapped a person on stage. Like, it's a show, right? So just like whatever. So on the flip side, I'm like, Will, like, why would you slap it? Like, you could have easily embarrassed him verbally, right? Like, he could have wrapped him up in an intellectual, verbally way to make him feel stupid, right? With your words, that would have been a slap to his, to his psyche. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I've always believed in dealing with people on an intellectual or verbal level. I don't believe in a physical harm. Like, if he pissed me off, trust me, we will talk and I'll make you feel, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm not going to come at you in a physical way, right? I've never been that kind of person. So that part, I was like, whoa, this is like, wow, right? But then on the flip side, on Chris Rock's end, I know Chris Rock, he's done some sketchy stuff, like allowed other people to say the N-word that are white in front of him, didn't correct them, and laughed and said, yes, you can say the N-word because I think you're an N-word too. It's like Chris Rock has kind of been, it's like he's done quite a few things that I'm like, yo, bro, what's going on? But I've always enjoyed his comedy too. But I don't think he deserves to be slapped. I just think that as a Black man, when the Oscars give you these scripts to do, because apparently it wasn't written by him, the Oscar writers wrote him the script, right? Cool. But Chris Rock, like, don't just receive a script. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like Faheem, like whenever we become famous, that whenever that happens, will I just take a script from the Oscars and read it out? Or will I say, what's the script? I'm not reading anything you give me. I'm not doing that. Right? So maybe I can never be a presenter because I'm not doing that. No, honestly, if they go, oh, Janelle, make fun of this other Black girl's hair. Are you dumb? Black women and their hair? Like, there are laws and rules that you don't do, right? About Black women. You don't make fun of our hair. You don't make fun of not having hair or leave our hair out of all jokes, period. Like, and as Black men, you should know this. So my thing is like, Chris Rock, you being a Black man, your girlfriend's Black, like you should know these kind of rules. So you should have been like, hey, Oscar writers, I understand you want to talk about G.I. Jane, but it's around her hair. I don't want to talk about a Black woman's hair. It's not a good look. So let's do another movie joke maybe around Will Smith, like something different. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is that the joke that Regina made about LeBron's hairline, even that was kind of like, ooh, Black men, their hairline, that's very, like certain things you just don't joke about. You know what I'm saying? Like the way someone talks or walks, like it's certain things is very like cliche. So I just felt that like, yo, Chris Rock, like, come on, bro. Like, why would you even do a joke about a Black woman's hair? You know what I'm saying? So
did he do a movie about Black for some?
Yeah, it was called Good Hair, and it was
Good Hair, right?
It was not a good movie. It was really about like, I watched it and it wasn't celebrating our hair. It was more about, like again, Chris Rock has done some questionable stuff, right? But anyway, at the end of the day, he shouldn't get slapped. But I do think Chris Rock has to be responsible for not just doing any joke that he doesn't write. If I'm a comedian, I'm writing my own jokes. So you tell me what you want me to joke about and I'll figure it out, right? But I'm not going to read whatever you tell me, because I just think that Chris Rock is a grown man. He's been in the industry for years. He's hosted the Oscar before. Chris Rock, you have more power than you think. You know what I'm saying? So you saying, hey, Oscars, laughing about a black woman's hair isn't a good look, bro. Let's change it up. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris Rock should know better. So
yeah.
So to me, like in essence, like Will Smith is wrong for slapping Chris Rock. Chris Rock is wrong for making fun of black women's hair in front of white people on TV. But I do admire Chris Rock, how he kind of just like, yo, it's a joke. And like, he stood up there for Questlove. Like that takes a lot of composure. And I feel like I'm like Chris Rock, right? I have a very delayed response to things. Like I don't respond to things right away. I'll be like, what just happened? And then be like, okay, whatever, right? But Chris Rock didn't come outside after that. Like I didn't see Chris Rock at all. So he must have been so embarrassed. Like I felt bad. Like I'm like, yo, he must be so embarrassed. But I feel like they were both embarrassed. Like you can tell Will after it happened, even when he said or cussed at him, I'm like, yo, Will is so embarrassed of what he did. Like I can tell he was so embarrassed and he felt remorse. Chris Rock was embarrassed for getting. It's just bad seeing two black men, Faheem, fighting on TV, in front of everyone. But one thing I don't like is people saying Will Smith put black people back. And I said, are you kidding me? You think Will Smith put black people back years? No. And if you think that, you don't think highly of black people. I will never, ever put the weight of black people on one person. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. There's so many black people doing amazing things every day on TV. Not how can Will Smith be ruin black people's progress? That's foolishness. So let's get out of our own feelings, okay? And honestly, for him, if it was me, if someone made fun of my nephew or my niece publicly like that, I was like, yo, how would you react? I'm like, damn, because it's someone that you love, that like you've seen cry about her hair loss. Like, how would I react? And honestly, I'm like, yo, I don't know what I would do. Like, I know what he did was wrong, but I don't know what I would do. So I have grace in a sense of like, I'm not gonna judge him for what he did, but I could say what he did was wrong. That's just me. I don't judge nobody. I'm not God. Can't talk for nobody else, but that's my spiel on it. What about you? What your thoughts on what happened, your reaction to when it happened and all that stuff?
One, I didn't even know the Oscars was happening that night. I was literally watching television with my wife and then I saw something on my phone and I seen it was trending. And I didn't even know it happened that night. It could have been old. I was like, what is this? And then I read some of the comments and I was like, oh, this happened now. Oh, the Oscars is happening now. Oh, like everything hit me all at once. So, and after initially I thought it was fake. Obviously, these are two actors.
I
so
thought it was fake too.
But then after, I once it settled in, like this is real. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I was entertained for the night though. I was.
It was funny, honestly, because I didn't think it was real. At first, I was like laughing. Yo, this can't be real, y'all. Like I was laughing, like no way, because I thought it was fake. But then the more you watch it, you're like, this is not fake at all. Will Smith actually got up and slapped somebody. Damn.
Definitely. So that was definitely big for the night. Like I mentioned, something that got slept on for the night was the Queen of Basketball. I'm going to take it in. I have not taken it in yet, but I'm going to.
Yes, me too.
And I'm going to make a recommendation for everyone else also. I'm familiar with the story.
Everyone, but now, let's all watch it.
Definitely. Like
definitely watch it.
Shaq and Steph, they have, that's one thing about short films. They're obviously much cheaper than motion pictures, right? Yeah. So they put their not just their money behind it, but you could tell there's a cause behind it. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Shaq and Steph Curry getting Oscars. Great for the culture. And so even a short film, do you know what's classified by Sundance as a short film in regards to time?
I think it's 25 minutes or less.
Yeah. So according to this, it says between 5 and 50.
Okay, 50. Okay.
Yeah, 50. So this one happens to be around the 22 mark. So and that's one thing I like about it also, and why I'm definitely taking it in very soon, is the time commitment. Come on, 22 minutes to learn on a legend's life.
Exactly. It's worth it.
Definitely.
It's good to know. And I feel like, but it's so good to know that she was aware of the film. She was a part of it. And she knew that her legacy would be lasting. Right. So, but unfortunately, she won't see all the people that were like, oh my gosh. But yeah, man, Luisha Harris, big up herself, queen of the game, queen of basketball, forever living through this film, which is great.
So I will just close out this episode with That's Absurd.
That's absurd. Faheem, bro, what was absurd this week? What was absurd?
I love it. Stephen A. Smith. So he spends part of his career is to comment on
troll people. Sorry. Yeah, comment.
Okay,
sorry. Sorry, Stephen A. Not a troll, but he's like, yes, he's a colored, what's it called? A colored commentary of
not colored commentary.
A colored commentary.
So he quoted he had Magic Johnson on First Take on his show. And while talking to Magic Johnson, part of his point about what he was talking about with Kevin Durant, because we all know the history with him and KD. Part of his case he was making around KD and Kyrie and Harden, that whole drama that happened, was he was saying that Kyrie told Harden to his face that he was washed. And
pull up it again, the last part.
That he was washed. He's washed up. Apparently, but he said, according to sources, as he slipped it in there, that source happened to be Ballsack Sports. Ballsack on Twitter is a satire page. Nothing real about it. They just find stories and find things that might seem real and just slip it in the news cycle and see how they catch people slipping.
Yes.
Stephen A., you got caught slipping. And also KD called him out on a tweet also, stating that he got slipping also. So we'll go with absurd for Stephen A.
Absurd.
That's right. Also, you know what? He's not alone with this. Kendrick Perkins, he also has got caught also using things on air with ESPN, and it also was not correct also, and he got ball sacked. So I'm surprised these guys. It's about checking your sources, especially when you are the source for a lot of people. You're on television. Good.
Well, what's funny, Katie said, Steve got your ass, right? He fully said that. But no, this is the thing about, and again, we've seen, this is another, I'm gonna call it a Chris Rock moment, where you're not looking into what you're given, right? It's like they give you, and I get it, right? You probably get, I'm sure Stephen A has AIDS, and all they do is do research for him, right? Yep. They research stories, research everything. So that aide probably, maybe I'm gonna do a satire right now. Probably, allegedly, I can see an aide of Stephen A's sick of his behind. I'm like, you know what? F this guy. I'm gonna give him this fake story. See what? Come on, you know what those guys are, right? I'm gonna give him this fake story so he can embarrass himself on public, like on national television, and it worked, right? Definitely. So all I'm saying is that whoever that aide was, man, that was funny, bro. Because there's no way that aide didn't know that that was a satire. There's no, come on.
Well, I don't know.
But also sometimes too, and something that I've learned, when we're in Clubhouse and we're having combos in rooms, sometimes these like ESPN folks come in as a burner account. So they're listening to get stories for their show.
Right. Of course.
Or on Twitter Spaces, right? Yep. So maybe they heard someone talk about it and like, oh, really? And probably thought it was real. Listen, y'all. All I'm saying, that is funny. That is funny to me. Like,
definitely.
Ball sacked, for real.
These, so Stephen A, Perkins, all these guys are on ESPN, all of them. If let's look very closely, you'll see in their ear a little white thing in their ear. That's their producer in the ear as they're speaking, feeding them stats and things. That's just a good producer will drop that little piece of information at the right time in the conversation, right? I would assume that producer did not know that was.
Well, remember, there's producers and there's writers. So they have writers who create the story, So remember when we had our boy that came on from TSN, there was a guy who writes the story and have a story deck that people like Stephen A. Perkins will talk about. So the story, the narrative is created, and the producer kind of points on commercial break. Like they're more kind of directing everything, but the writers give you the information beforehand. So like, and most writers have aides, right? It's like an aide, a writer. It's like, it's a whole team behind this. So
of course. Yeah. A lot of things that come from these talking heads, we'll call them, is not necessarily from their brain to their mouth to our ears. It's a bunch of all of the things that come and play, a lot of other information. So I just want to quickly shout out Ballsack Sports, great satire page. Apparently it's a Twitter account run by a 24-year-old from Akron, Ohio.
Yes, I heard.
LeBron James. You did? Okay, good. Yeah.
I heard about him. Yeah.
So yeah, man, I just want to shout him out. Keep them coming, man. There's some good stuff.
And hopefully, I'm hoping he can create like get a show where all they do is report satire, sporting stories. Oh, that would be cool. Funny. Oh my gosh.
That would be cool.
Hey, listen, we're available, dog, because I love some satire still. Yeah, no, I couldn't do, because I'd be laughing. I'd be like, James Harden was called washed today by Kyrie Irving during practice. Like, I couldn't keep a straight face, but nah, man, that'd be funny as hell.
Nice. All right, Nelly J, let's put this episode in the books.
That was episode 86.
86.
Whew. Well, y'all, typically we have our guests to do a shout out, but I guess Faheem, we can do our own shout outs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to shout you out, of course. Welcome. I'm happy that we made it to 86. Shout out to the family on Raptor Spaces. Big up on South. The family on Clubhouse, Toronto Raptors fan club. Big up on South. And of course, all of our favorite rooms of Clubhouse, 94 feet. We got Fact Over Feelings. We got circling back on this. There's a lot of great clubs on Clubhouse, but just shout out to all the content creators, man. The Big Old Podcast, everybody doing their thing. I know Ryan Never Heard started his new podcast recently, and Wata as well, Faheem, started a podcast this week, episode 1 dropping. So just big up to all the people of color that are creating content, whether that's live streaming, whether that's through the audio apps, whether that's through YouTube. Just supporting you guys out. Get your stories out. We need more of us out there. So I want to big up Self.
Definitely. Let me tack on to your creators. Shout out to Hoop Spaces on Twitter.
Ooh, absolutely.
Definitely. And if you ever tune in to Hoop Spaces, the premier daily NBA show on Twitter Spaces.
Yes.
NBA Twitter, definitely. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So
or 12, depending on how Chris feels.
What you may want to do is, if you're spending your between, say, 10, 11, noon, listening to First Takes and all these others, give it a shot. Tune into Twitter, hop on to @HoopSpaces. Some really good NBA talks happening there. I'll make my shout real quick. Also, I definitely want to shout you out. You're killing it on all platforms. Clubhouse, Twitter. No. Hey, respect you. Like, you are really killing it. Shout out to you. And also, I do want to shout out Dawn Staley.
Ooh, yes, that's my girl.
Winning the national championship. Not just win the national championship, but I heard something when I was on Hoop Spaces, by the way, when they're recapping the game, where I guess one of the maybe regional championships or something, where when they cut down the nets, she gave a piece of the net to all the Black coaches in women's basketball. Is that correct? Is it something like that?
So she gave a piece of all the Black reporters, women reporters.
That was this time when they won the championship. And that's what it's leading to, I think. But the time before, I think.
Oh, the last time.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it was this is the first time win the championship, obviously, right? So this would have been maybe a regional championship or something like that. But on her way up, she gave something to all the Black coaches, cut off a piece of the net and gave it to all of them. And then when she won the national championship, she cut off a piece of the net and gave it to all the Black reporters who were covering women's college basketball. What kind of leadership is that? And that's one thing I gotta. That's one thing I gotta say.
I'm seeing this right now. So she sent a piece to all the Black women's coaches, calling that a crucial piece of equipment to the game. That is so sweet.
Like, that's one thing I got to say about women in basketball period. I remember during the pandemic, and it was women, and they were the ones that actually genuinely, I felt, taking the stand for the Black Lives Matter movement and just everything that's happening. They were front and center with it, doing a lot more than the men, tell you the truth. And now just hearing, college basketball, women's college basketball is definitely on the rise. And think
Yes.
that, Dawn Staley's one.
Did you see the top NIL paid athletes in basketball?
No, I
Out
didn't.
of 5, only one's a man. The rest are women. It's crazy.
Really?
Yes. Listen, man.
Wow.
I'm
Didn't know
gonna
that.
tell y'all from now. Women's sports. Listen,
Mhm.
this younger, like these kids are like 17 to 25. Trust me, they're watching women and men both equally.
So it's beautiful to see that Dawn
Yes.
Staley, a Black coach, and not just a Black coach, but a Black coach who's actually come through the system. We've talked about this before in regards to with women's sports, period. It seems like men are getting the coaching jobs. And if women are getting coaching jobs, they're not Black women. Black women represent a lot of the product on the court, but they're not transitioning to the sidelines. So to see that Dawn Staley's doing this and being someone who's come to the system, high school, college, pro legend, coming back and coaching, and now cutting down the nets and handing it out and just being a leader. Shout out to Dawn Staley. She is a GOAT. Enough respect.
Yep. And she's the only coach to ever win multiple NCAA championships ever.
Oh, wait a second. So then that's maybe what happened. And maybe when she won a championship before, that's when she cut them down and gave.
Yeah, she won in 2017. It's funny because like I remember someone asked me, and I'm like, because for some reason I thought someone else has won multiple chapters before, but I didn't know this was her first one. I thought when she won the last time, I know she was a head coach, right? Because in 2017, I wasn't watching that much college like that, women's college basketball. Probably got into more of it like in 18, 19 more, because Canada wasn't really showing women college or NCAA games at all. Like we weren't like back, I would say 2017, they weren't showing a tournament like that in Canada. Like we got the men's tournament, but the women's tournament wasn't shown on TV up here. So like it's like I would follow it, but this year I got to watch like most of it, and they showed most of the games on TV, right? Because ESPN and TSN partnership, so that was dope. Yeah.
So shout out to Dawn Staley. Definitely. I'm so proud of her. I couldn't do it more. And what I want to do real quickly is I want to just go over her achievements real quick on the way out of this episode. So she's a 6-time WNBA All-Star. She was 2-time Naismith College Player of the Year, 2-time ACC Player of the Year. And as a coach, she's a 2-time Division I tournament champion, like you mentioned, 2017 and 2022. 6-time SEC regular season champion, 6-time SEC tournament champion, 4-time NCAA regional champion. As a coach, she done on both levels, on the court and on the sidelines. So shout out to Dawn Staley. Couldn't be more proud of you. Yeah. And on that note, let's put this episode in the books.
Ooh, that was a long shout out, y'all. We apologize, y'all. It was a whole topic. Well, y'all, that was episode 86.
86.
So if you had a good time, you enjoyed yourself, please like, subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Faheem.
We're on all platforms. If you're looking for us, you know where to find us. That's Good Rookies Podcast, episode 86. And we out.
Peace.